Hello everyone, welcome to K Launcher. So we are back with our next session on NMAT and SNAP. So we have been looking at a mixed bag of questions across all the topics, and that is the theme. So uh, we would we would like you to practice along with us, and कोई भी क्वेरीज हो ज़रूर पूछिए, राइट? और पार्टिसिपेट कीजिए और क्वेश्चंस में पूरा उसको अटेम्प्ट कीजिए, राइट? चलिए, तो सेशन से स्टार्ट करते हैं इन मैथ एंड स्नैप 2026. लेट्स स्टार्ट पीपल. Now, last week we left you with this bonus question that was meant for you to tell me the answers. I did not get any response actually. शायद आपको शायद मुश्किल लगा हो या पता नहीं किसी ने देखा ना हो, बट हर हफ्ते हम एक बोनस क्वेश्चन जरूर आपके लिए दे करके जाते हैं. तो लेट्स लुक एट दिस क्वेश्चन फ्रॉम द लास्ट वीक. Mr. Kapoor usually reaches his office a few minutes before the scheduled reporting time. One rainy day, heavy traffic reduced his. So it's a question of TST. His speed changes by a certain percentage. So basically, ये क्वेश्चन आपका रेशो मेथड का है, जिसमें कि एक रेशो में आपकी स्पीड चेंज हो रही है. सो पहले उनकी स्पीड जो है इट रिड्यूसेस बाय 25%. So when distance is constant, speed and time are inversely proportional, right? So there are two changes that are given. Once his speed decreases, right, on the rainy day and by 20%, and that causes him to reach the office 5 minutes late. Now, he always used to reach a few minutes before the scheduled reporting time. तो एक यूजुअल स्पीड थी, एक न्यू रिड्यूस्ड स्पीड है. So that is in the ratio of 3:4, right? So the speed has become 25% less, which means 3/4, right? So the time taken must have increased in the inverse proportion of 3:4, right? Now there is another scenario. The next day he's increased his speed by 20% on the other hand. So now there's another comparison, usual speed and increased speed. So the increased speed is 20% more, 1/5 more, 1 plus 1 by 5, 6 by 5 times. So 6:5 is the ratio of the increased speed and the usual speed. So the time taken must be in the inverse ratio of 6:5. Now, so on both the cases, the time that is there should be the equivalent, this usual time, right? So I can equate that from the ratio perspective. So if this is 6, this should also be 6. So I can just double this number and say this is the same as 6:8. So now if this time is some 6t, this is some 8t, and this is 6t, so this is 5t. On this reduced speed, he reaches 5 minutes late. So this 8t is 5 minutes more than the usual reporting time. And on this increased speed of 20%, he is reaching the office 25 minutes before. So this time here is 25 minutes less than the usual reporting time. So now we can say that the gap over here, this between these two time is 30 minutes. And that 30 minutes is the difference of 8t and 5t. So 8t minus 5t, which means 3t, equals the gap of 30, or t is 10. So therefore, we understand that this time is 60 minutes, this time is 80 minutes, this time is 60 minutes, this time is 50 minutes. When he reaches by taking the time of 80 minutes, he is 5 minutes late, right? On 80 minutes, he is 5 minutes late. Usual time is 60 minutes. So decrease by another 20 minutes from 80 to 60. So if you're 5 minutes late and if you're decreasing by 20 minutes, so obviously plus 5 minus 20 minus 15. So you're 15 minutes ahead of the schedule, and that is the usual time by which he reaches the office early, right? That is exactly what the question was asking, right? Perfect. So this was a question on the ratio approach. चलिए आगे बढ़ते हैं, आज के सेशन से स्टार्ट करते हैं. लेट्स सी. Now, so we are out with our next CDC3 people. You have recently seen our CDC2. If you have gone for that offline experience of the actual simulation, right? So you would definitely appreciate how it helps you to get the, the real environment being created, right? Mock at home 100 marks. So घर पे, at home you are a little bit more carefree, right? So therefore you don't have that exam vibe, right? So it's important to test that, test yourself in the real simulated environment. So from that perspective, CDC3 is open for registrations on happening on September 26 and 27, right? So register now, check out the details, right? So we'll hope to see you in that uh, actual, uh, facing an actual cat environment, right? Okay, right. So that was important. आगे बढ़ते हैं. Let's start with the session. First one. चलिए, तो मैं डिस्कस करता हूं, आप मेरे साथ साथ सॉल्व कर सकते हैं और अगर आंसर आए तो जरूर बताइएगा. I think this is quite a straightforward one. Let's see. A father tells his son, 7 years ago, I was 7 times as old as you were. In 3 years, I will be 3 times as old as you will be. How old was the father when his son was born? Okay, so in all age problems, it is always most convenient that we take the current age of the persons to be the variable, right? So if I take x and y for the ages of the father and the son respectively, so 7 years ago, father was x minus 7, and he was 7 times as old as the son. So son was y minus 7. So x minus 7 was the 7 times of y minus 7, which we can simplify and solve. Another equation we can write, in 3 years I will be. So now we are going in the future. So we'll add 3 years. So father will be x plus 3, and that age will be thrice of how old the son will be. Son will be similarly y plus 3. Just solve these two linear equations. This one is simplified as x equals 7y minus 49 plus 7, that is minus 42. And from here, x is 3y plus 9 minus 3, which is plus 6. So therefore, we can say that x equals 7y minus 42, which also equals 3y plus 6. So 7 minus 3, 4y equals 42 plus 6, 48. Y is coming to be 12. Y is coming to be 12, so put it back over there, and we can say that x is 3y plus 6. 3 12s are 36 plus 6, which is 42. Now, question is not asking the age of the father or the age of the son. Question is asking, how old was the father when his son was born? What is the answer? How old was the father when his son was born? When the son was born, the son was 0 years of age. Anybody who is born is 0. So basically, the question is asking the age gap between the father and the son, because when somebody is born, that person is 0 years of age. So we are going back 12 years in the past, right? So 12 years ago, son was born and father was 42 minus 12, which is 30. The age gap basically between the father and the son, right? So this was just a simple routine word problem. Create the equations on the information and solve it, right? इसमें भी लोगों से गलती हो जाती है. लोग क्या करते हैं, एक तरफ x minus 7 लिखते हैं, दूसरी तरफ y लिख देते हैं. y minus 7 लिखना भूल जाते हैं. Right? So don't forget, for both the persons you have to consider the age at that point of time, right? चलिए और देखते हैं नेक्स्ट वन. Okay, so people, we are focusing on NMAT and SNAP. तो NMAT and SNAP के कुछ specific topics होते हैं, जैसे कि stocks, right? इस पर questions specifically इन exams में ज़्यादा देखे जाते हैं. तो I have brought questions across all the topics, right? चलिए, तो इसमें क्या करना है? Find the market price of the stock, right? चलिए देखते हैं. By investing 7500 rupees in a 10%, ये 10% क्या है? This is the basically the dividend yield जिसको बोलते हैं. बेसिकली जो डिविडेंड मिलता है, इट्स अ परसेंटेज ऑफ द फेस वैल्यू. सो 10% स्टॉक मतलब जो डिविडेंड मिलेगा दैट विल बी 10% ऑफ द फेस वैल्यू ऑफ द स्टॉक्स. 7500 is the market price total. See, he's asking the market price of the stock. Obviously, he means per stock. So the 7500 that is the market. I mean the total amount paid for buying a certain number of shares. अब कितने shares हैं वो अभी पता नहीं है, वो निकालना पड़ेगा. तभी हम market price of the stock per stock के basis पर निकाल पाएंगे, right? 10% of 100 rupee face value. Person earns 500 rupees as dividend. So basically जो dividend मिलना चाहिए according to the information should be 10% of the total face value. Call that FV, face value of the stocks, right? So that equals basically 500 rupees. So 10% means 1/10 of the face value is 500. So the total face value of all the shares bought is 5,000, right? 500. 1/10 is 500. So total value is 500 into 10, 5,000. So इससे मुझे अब समझ में आ गया कि अच्छा face value per share is 100 rupees and total face value of all the shares bought is 5,000. So this helps me to find the number of shares, right? That 5,000 is the total face value divided by the face value of each share. So 5,000 by 100 is these are 50 shares that were that this person has invested, right? So 50 shares ki therefore market price 7,500 hai, so we can say that therefore the market price per share is the total buying price of 7,500 rupees for 50 shares. So 500 by 50, that's 150 is the market price, right? तो 100 रुपी फेस वैल्यू का शेयर जो है वो 150 पर खरीदा गया था एट अ 50% प्रीमियम, राइट? दिस इज अनदर थिंग टू दैट वी कैन ऑल्सो फिगर आउट, राइट? ये भी पूछ सकता कि व्हाट इज द प्रीमियम एट विच द स्टॉक इज ट्रेडिंग, तो आंसर विल बी 50%, राइट? सो आई थिंक दिस कवर्स अ लॉट ऑफ कॉन्सेप्ट्स ऑन स्टॉक्स. इस पर भी क्वेश्चंस आते हैं, तो दैट विल बी यूजफुल फॉर यू, राइट? चलिए और देखते हैं नेक्स्ट वन. पीपल, यू आर नॉट गिविंग एनी आंसर्स, व्हाट्स हैपनिंग? यू आर नॉट पार्टिसिपेटिंग इन द सेशन. इसमें मजा नहीं आता यार. आई एम नॉट हियर टू जस्ट सॉल्व द क्वेश्चंस, राइट? आई एम हियर टू डिस्कस विद यू, टू हियर योर ओपिनियन, टू हियर योर आंसर्स. चलिए मैं 1 मिनट देता हूँ, आप इस क्वेश्चन को जरा ट्राई करेंगे. लेट मी सी इफ समबडी कैन आंसर दिस वन. Okay, so it's a question on profit loss and also faulty balances, right? So there's a false balance that this retailer is using, which shows 1,000 gram when only 960 grams is placed on it, which means that basically the customer is being cheated, right? He's being given less than what he is paying for. He's paying for 1 kg, but he is only getting 960 grams, right? So consider a transaction of 1 kg happening. Okay, so the retailer, right? He says, okay, he says to the customer, okay, take 1 kg from me, right? So therefore, he gets the money of 1 kg worth of goods, but the actual quantity transferred to the customer is only 0.96 kg. So therefore, the cost that the retailer bears is only for 1 kg, right? Whereas he gets the revenue for against 1 kg of goods. In this question, there's no as such any monetary value given for the cost price or anything. So in all such questions, we can always assume by assuming the cost price as any convenient number. 100 is always the easiest number, right? uh, right, 100 के रिलेटिव कोई भी परसेंटेज इजीली फिगर आउट की जा सकती है. That's why. So the actual cost of the items that are sold is against only 960 grams. So that is 96 rupees, right? ये cost retailer को पड़ी. So we are considering a transaction of 1 kg that the retailer is claiming. He is claiming to sell 1 kg, but actually he is only selling 960 grams. So he gets revenue for 1 kg, but he bears the cost for only 960 grams. Now, what is his selling rate? The retailer marks up the price by 60%. So from cost price of 100 rupees that I've assumed, the mark price becomes 160 rupees, 60% above 100. Then he gives a 10% discount, so decrease this by 10%. So the final selling price is therefore 90% of the mark price, 0.9 times of 160, which is 144 rupees. So against 1 kg of goods, this is exactly his revenue as well, right? He gets 144 rupees, right, which is his final selling price against the actual cost of 96. So we have to find the gain percentage, the profit percentage. So the value of the profit is 144 minus 96, that becomes 48. So profit of 48 on a cost of 96 means a percentage profit or a gain percentage is 48, which is 48 by 96. That is exactly half. So he's having a 50% net profit that he's getting. Right. So in all such questions, just consider a transaction of 1 kg. Assume the cost as 100. Proceed to find the mark price, selling price. Compare the final selling price with respect to the actual cost, and there you go. Right. So a classic question of cheating traders, faulty balances. Right. This retailer is cheating the customer. Right. चलिए और देखते हैं नेक्स्ट वन पीपल. चलिए लेट्स सी. Escalators. Let's see. A man walks up with an escalator taking 10 steps. His wife walks up the same escalator at twice his speed and counts 15 steps. देखिए मैं escalator के क्वेश्चन को बिल्कुल ना I consider it very analogous to boats and streams. जिस तरह से in boats and streams the boat and the stream speed either add or subtract. Likewise here also the speed of the person and of the escalator either add or subtract depending on whether the person is moving with or against the escalator. In escalator questions, if nothing is mentioned, we always assume that the person is moving with the escalator. वैसे भी लिखा हुआ है, a man walks up with an escalator. So the word with itself means कि, right, he is in going in the same direction as the escalator, right? Okay, so the point is that time is constant. What I'm trying to say, that both the person and the escalator are moving for the same amount of time. So the ratio of their steps covered is the same as the ratio of their speeds. Time is constant, so speed and time are time is constant, so speed and distance are directly proportional, right? Okay, so what happens is man and escalator. Man has taken 10 steps. Escalator would have taken some number of steps. Let me call that some n number of steps in the same time. So basically, what I have assumed that the total number of steps on the escalator therefore is n plus 10. Now this won't change even if the wife walks up the same escalator. So the total steps covered will still be n plus 10. Right. So for the wife, what happens? Her speed is twice, so she ends up covering more steps on her own, which is 15. Since the total number of steps is not going to be any different, which is n plus 10. So if wife has covered 15, so n plus 10 minus 15, which is n minus 5 steps, must have been covered by the escalator in the same time. So what I can say, I can say that the wife's speed is twice of the man's speed. So wife is to escalator, the ratio of the speeds is also twice of the ratio of the speed of man to that of the escalator, the denominator being the common one. So I think, so this this is an equation which interrelates the ratio of the speeds, and these are the distances covered, 10 and n. These are the number of steps covered, right? So the number of steps covered is in the same ratio as the ratio of the speeds. So therefore I can put over here these ratios, right? So the speed of the wife and escalator are in the ratio of 15 is to n minus 5, which should be twice of the ratio of the speed of man and escalator, which means 10 over n. Right, so that is the equation that should help me to find the value of n, right? So let's do this. 5 cancels, 3, 5 cancels, 2, cross multiply, 3n is 2 into 2, 4 times of n minus 5, which means 4n minus 20. N is coming to be 20. 20 is not in the options because he is asking what, right? He's asking number of steps visible on the escalator, which is n plus 10, right? So there are 30 steps visible on the escalator, right? 20 is n, and remember n plus 10 was the total number of steps, right? So a pretty straightforward one again on escalator, given that you applied the concept of time being same. Time is same, so speed and distances are in the same ratio, right? Just like boats and streams, similar to that, right? So that is how we can deal with escalator questions. बिल्कुल आते हैं escalator questions, even CAT में भी आते हैं, even SNAP NMAT सब में आते हैं, right? चलिए और देखते हैं. Let's see next one. Okay, here we go. Let's see. At a social gathering, every person shakes hands once with every other person, resulting in a total of 300 handshakes. All right. Now, a family of 5 persons joins the gathering, whereby they shake hands with every other person except among themselves. Why would a family exchange hands among themselves? Obviously, right? So there was a gathering. How many people are there? I don't know. But given that everybody in that gathering has, they have shook their hands. So every pair of persons is going to shake hands. So if there are n persons, so obviously NC2, all the ways of selecting 2 out of n persons, number of handshakes will happen. So NC2 is n into n minus 1 over 2, which is given to be equal to 300. I need to solve for n. So n into n minus 1 is 600. Can I express 600 as the product of 2 consecutive natural numbers? I need to do that so that I can find n, because that is written over here on the left hand side, n into n minus 1, the product of 2 consecutive natural numbers, right? 600 is 100 into 6. From 100 you can take 4 away. So 6 into 4, 24, and then 25 remains. So yes, that tells me that n is basically 25. So there were 25 people in the social gathering, and now these 5 people come in, and therefore they are going to shake hands with everybody else, but except among themselves. So each of the 5 persons will shake hands with each of the 25 persons. So in all, 5 into 25 for each of the 5 persons, 25 handshakes. So 5 into 25, right? 125 new handshakes will definitely take place, right? So it was the kind of a reverse question where the number of handshakes was given, and hence you have to find the number of persons already in the party or social gathering, and then you can find the new handshakes that will happen, right people? तो पीएनसी का एक बेसिक सा ही क्वेश्चन था, बट जस्ट आपको NC2 पर इक्वेशन लगानी थी और n निकालना था, राइट? देन इट वाज प्रीटी स्ट्रेट फॉरवर्ड, right people? So I hope you're practicing with me. Let's see another one. Here we go. Now, so here we have a question on set theory, as you can see. So set theory पर questions आपके आते हैं, right? Like this, 2 sets, 3 sets, right? You should know all the equations related to Venn diagrams, right? चलिए इसको देखते हैं. It's a Venn diagram of 3 because we have cricket, football, and hockey. Let's see. So cricket, football, hockey. So in a class of 100, 100 is the total. Total students is 100. 60 play cricket. 60 play cricket. 50 play football or 40 play hockey. 30 प्ले क्रिकेट एंड फुटबॉल. अब इसमें मोस्टली लोग गलती कर जाते हैं, 30 को यहाँ पर लिख लेते हैं इस जगह पर, बल्कि 30 इस जगह की वैल्यू नहीं है, इन दोनों का सम है, बिकॉज दीज टू रीजन्स टेकन टुगेदर इज द ओवरलैप ऑफ क्रिकेट एंड फुटबॉल. तो पहले आप 15 को देख लीजिए, तीनों का इंटरसेक्शन देख लीजिए. 15 प्ले ऑल द 3. सो हमेशा सेंटर मोस्ट वैल्यू अगर पता हो तो सबसे पहले वो लिखना चाहिए, उसके रिस्पेक्ट में देन वी कैन इजीली फाइंड द अदर, राइट? सो 15 को मैंने लिख लिया. अब मैं वापस यहाँ से अगर आऊँगा, सो 30 प्ले क्रिकेट एंड फुटबॉल. सो 30 इज द सम ऑफ दीज टू रीजन्स, दैट मीन्स दिस इज 15, right? Likewise 20 play football and hockey, so that means these two add up to 20, so this is 5. And finally 25 is cricket and hockey, so 15 plus 10 is 25, so ये 10 हो गया. Then you can find these regions and complete the Venn diagram. 60, so this is 40, so this means 20 is remaining over here. This is 35, so 50 minus 35, 15 is remaining here. 40 and this is 20, so sorry, 30, 15, 5, 20 and 10, 30, so 10 is remaining here. So the union of the set, which means how many people, how many students play at least one sport, right? So the whole of cricket is 60, add to that 70, 15 and 5, 20, 70 and 20, 90. तो 90 स्टूडेंट्स प्ले एटलीस्ट वन स्पोर्ट, तो टोटल 100 थे, उसमें से 90 कम से कम एक कोई स्पोर्ट खेलते तो हैं, तो देयरफॉर योर नन इज 100 माइनस 90, 10. Right, so you should have a basic awareness or the way to solve a Venn diagram questions. Which information represents which region on the Venn diagram, उसमें clarity चाहिए. अगर बोला है क्रिकेट एंड फुटबॉल, तो वो ऐसा नहीं कि यहाँ पर जाके आप 30 लिख दो, नो, राइट? क्रिकेट एंड फुटबॉल इज दो रीजन्स का इंटरसेक्शन, क्योंकि जो लोग तीनों स्पोर्ट्स खेलते हैं वो भी तो क्रिकेट एंड फुटबॉल खेल रहे हैं. उसने ये तो नहीं कहा ना कि 30 प्ले ओनली क्रिकेट एंड फुटबॉल. तो अब यहाँ पर एक डिस्टिंक्शन ये भी समझिए कि what language should have been there so that I should have written 30 in that specific region. The word only words would imply exclusivity, right? So ये छोटी छोटी चीजें हैं, बस इसका ध्यान रखना है और ज्यादा कोई चैलेंज है, right people? Okay, let's see next one. And next one is your bonus question that is for this week, the challenger. So take this question and solve it, and by the next week we will discuss this one. आप इसको सॉल्व कीजिए और अपना आंसर मुझे चैट बॉक्स पे ज़रूर दीजिएगा. मैं देखूंगा कि कितने लोगों ने इसका सही जवाब मुझे दिया. कोई ऑप्शंस नहीं होंगी हमारे बोनस क्वेश्चंस में, क्योंकि मैं चाहता हूं कि आप इसको इंडिपेंडेंटली सॉल्व करें. इतना ज़रूर है कि आंसर एक इंटीजर वैल्यू है, ये मैं आपको बता सकता हूँ. ये आपका एक मतलब अगर आंसर आपका कुछ फ्रैक्शन डेसिमल में आ रहा है, नो, आंसर इज अ परफेक्ट इंटीजर वैल्यू, राइट? चलिए, so with that I'll take a leave and we'll practice again next week, same place, same time. Till then, keep on practicing people. I know that this is the crunch time. We are just few months away, and I'm sure that you have almost completed your syllabus, and this is the practice time that you are practicing, and that's why we are meeting for these practice sessions. Right, people? So I'll see you next time. Thank you. Thank you. Keep up with your practice. All the best.